Commander Veltek stared at the blue planet spinning below his massive warship. Earth looked peaceful from space, with its white clouds and green continents. But his sensors told a different story. The humans down there were always fighting each other. Wars happened everywhere on their world. "Sir, the mining reports are ready," said his assistant, a thin alien with gray skin. "This system has enough rare metals to power our fleet for decades." Veltek nodded. The hegemony had done this 1,000 times before. Find a primitive world with resources. Remove the natives. Set up mining operations, simple and profitable. "What about the local species?" he asked. "Humans. They call themselves humans. Very primitive. No faster than light travel. They spend most of their time killing each other over territory and resources. Our analysis shows they will be easy to eliminate." Down on Earth, Dr. Hyun worked late in his laboratory in Seoul. He was studying new energy systems when the first alien ships appeared in the sky. At first, people thought they were meteors. Then the ships started glowing. Dr. Rena was having dinner with her family when the news broke. Every television channel showed the same thing. Massive alien ships hovering over major cities around the world. The ships were silent and dark against the evening sky. "Mom, are those real spaceships?" her young son asked. Before she could answer, the first energy beams struck the city. Buildings disappeared in flashes of white light. The ground shook like an earthquake. Through her window, Rena watched her neighborhood vanish in seconds. The attack came without warning and without mercy. Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Moscow. Every major city on Earth burned. The aliens targeted military bases first, then government buildings, then anything that looked important. Millions died in the first hour. Major Kim was training soldiers when the sky caught fire. His base was 50 kilometers from Seoul, but he could see the explosions from there. His radio crackled with desperate messages from units around the world. Everyone was reporting the same thing. Alien ships were destroying everything. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked Sergeant Jinho. Kim looked at his young soldiers. Most were barely 20 years old. None of them had ever seen real combat. Now they faced an enemy from the stars. "We go underground," he said. "We survive, and then we fight back." The aliens expected the humans to surrender quickly. Most primitive species did. After losing their major cities and governments, they usually gave up within days. But something strange happened on Earth. Instead of surrendering, the survivors disappeared. They went underground. They hid in subway tunnels and basement shelters. They used caves and abandoned mines. Within weeks, entire cities existed below ground. The aliens controlled the surface, but humans ruled the depths. Dr. Tay found herself in an underground facility that used to be a subway station. Hundreds of people lived there now. Engineers, soldiers, teachers, doctors. Everyone working together with one goal: survival. "We need to understand their technology," she told the others. "Every crashed ship is a chance to learn something new." The first alien patrol craft went down near Busan. It was damaged, but mostly intact. Dr. Su led a team to recover it before more aliens arrived. What they found inside changed everything. The alien technology was advanced but not magical. Their weapons used focused energy beams. Their ships ran on fusion reactors. Their computers processed information faster than human machines. But they still followed the same basic rules of physics. "We can copy this," Dr. Su whispered as she examined the alien equipment. "We can make it better." Underground workshops appeared in every major city. Human engineers worked day and night to understand alien technology. They took apart weapons and rebuilt them. They studied ship components and improved the designs. Within months, humans were using alien technology against the aliens themselves. The first counterattack surprised everyone, including the humans who planned it. A small group of fighters armed with modified alien weapons attacked a patrol near what used to be Busan. They destroyed 3 alien vehicles and disappeared before reinforcements arrived. Commander Veltek read the report with growing concern. His forces controlled all major population centers. His ships ruled the skies. But somehow humans were still fighting back. More troubling, They were getting better at it. "Sir, we have another problem," his assistant reported. "3 more patrols went missing yesterday, and we found evidence that humans are building weapons using our technology." Velthak studied the tactical display. Red marks showed where his forces had been attacked. The attacks were getting more frequent and more successful. These primitive humans were learning faster than any species he had ever encountered. "Increase patrol frequency," he ordered, "and send a message to High Command. We may need additional forces." But deep underground in hidden laboratories and secret workshops, humans were preparing something the galaxy had never seen before. They were not just fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for revenge. And they were very good at learning from their enemies. The war was just beginning, and the aliens had no idea what they had awakened. 6 months after the first attack, Major Kim crouched in the ruins of what used to be downtown Seoul. The alien patrol walked through the broken streets, checking for human survivors. They moved slowly, confident that they controlled everything above ground. Kim whispered into his radio. "Jinho, are you in position?" "Ready, sir," came the quiet reply from the rubble across the street. "Mira, what about you?" "All set. I can see 3 aliens from here." Kim gripped his weapon tighter. It looked strange. Part human rifle and part alien technology. Dr. Tay had built it in the underground workshop. It could fire energy beams just like alien weapons, but with twice the power. "Remember, hit the power packs on their backs first. That will shut down their shields. Then aim for center mass. On my mark." The aliens never saw it coming. 3 beams of energy struck them from different directions. Their protective shields flickered and died. Before they could react, more shots hit them. Within seconds, all 3 were down. Kim's team moved quickly to collect the alien equipment. Every weapon, every piece of technology was precious. In the underground labs, human scientists would study everything and find ways to make it better. "Sir, look at this." Sergeant Jinho held up a small device from one of the aliens. "I think it's some kind of communicator." Kim took the device and pressed a button. Alien voices filled the air, speaking in their strange language. But Dr. Rena had been working on translation programs. Soon they would understand what the enemies were saying. 2 kilometers underground, Dr. Hyun worked by the light of salvaged alien power cells. He had been studying their energy systems for months. The aliens used fusion reactors, but their design was inefficient. Human improvements could make them 3 times more powerful. "Dr. Su, come look at this," he called to his colleague. Dr. Su walked over, wiping grease from her hands. She had been working on alien engines, trying to understand how their ships could fly so fast. "I think I know how to build our own spacecraft," Hyun said. "We use their fusion technology, but with our computer systems. Our processors are actually better than theirs in some ways." Dr. Su smiled for the first time in months. "How long do you need?" "Give me 2 months and a team of engineers. We can build something that will surprise them." Above ground, Commander Velthak was getting worried reports from all over the planet. Human attacks were becoming more frequent and more sophisticated. His patrols were losing equipment faster than supply ships could replace it. "Sir, the humans are using our own weapons against us," his assistant reported. "But they have modified them somehow. Their weapons are more powerful than ours." Velthak studied the battle reports. In 6 months, humans had gone from throwing rocks to building energy weapons. No species had ever adapted this quickly. "How is this possible?" he muttered. 8 weeks later, Captain Huan sat in the pilot seat of humanity's first spacecraft. It was ugly, built from parts of 12 different alien ships. But it could fly and it could fight. "All systems ready," reported Engineer Bo from the back of the small ship. "Fusion reactor is stable. Weapons are charged. Take us up," Huan ordered. The ship rose from its hidden launch pad in the mountains near Seoul. It was night, and the alien orbital patrols would not expect anything to come from the surface. Human radar systems, improved with alien technology, had been tracking enemy movements for weeks. "Target spotted," announced Navigator Yoon. "Supply convoy, 3 ships, heading for the main base." "Perfect," Huan said. "Let's give them a surprise." The human ship attacked from below. where the aliens least expected it. Their first shot destroyed the lead supply ship. The second ship tried to turn and fight, but human weapons were now more powerful than alien shields. It exploded in a ball of fire. The third ship tried to escape, but Captain Juan was a former fighter pilot. He had been flying since he was 20 years old. The alien pilot was good, but Juan was better. His final shot sent the enemy ship spinning into Earth's atmosphere. Mission complete, Juan reported over the radio. All enemy ships destroyed. No damage to our vessel. Underground command centers across the world received the message. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had won a battle in space. Commander Veltak stared at his screens in shock. The supply convoy had simply vanished. All 3 ships destroyed by an unknown attacker. His sensors showed no human spacecraft in the area, but the evidence was clear. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission," his communications officer said nervously. "It's coming from the planet's surface. The signal is strong and clear. Put it through." The voice that filled the command bridge was human, speaking perfect alien language with a cold, controlled tone. "This is Colonel Lee of the Earth Resistance. You came to our world thinking we were weak. You killed our people thinking we would surrender. You were wrong. We have learned from you. We have built weapons you cannot imagine. We have become something you should fear. This is your only warning. Leave our system now, or face the consequences." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Veltak realized with growing horror that the easy conquest had become something else entirely. The humans were no longer just surviving. They were fighting back with weapons and tactics the galaxy had never seen. The war was about to change completely. 2 years after Earth's invasion, Captain Juan commanded a fleet of 30 ships heading toward the alien world of Kextar. Half were human-built vessels, ugly but powerful. The other half were alien ships captured in battle, now flying under Earth's flag. "Captain, we are receiving the secret transmission again," reported Communications Officer Yun. The message came from the planet's surface, sent by the native aliens who worked in the hegemony's mining operations. For months they had been asking for help. They wanted freedom from their masters. "This is Krelden of the Kextar mining facility," the voice said in broken human language. "Please help us. Hegemony forces treat us like animals. We work until we die. We have heard about human liberation. We want to be free." Captain Juan looked at his mixed crew. Humans worked alongside freed alien slaves from a dozen different worlds. All of them had one thing in common. They hated the hegemony. "All ships, this is the captain," Juan announced. "Remember why we are here. We are not conquerors. We are liberators. Every being deserves the right to choose their own future." The battle for Kextar began at dawn. The hegemony had 40 warships defending the planet. It should have been enough to stop any attack. But human tactics were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Lieutenant Bo commanded a squadron of small, fast ships. They attacked from 6 different directions at once, confusing the enemy radar systems. While the hegemony fleet tried to track the small ships, Captain Mira led the heavy attack vessels in a direct assault on the main defense station. "Enemy, shields are down," reported Gunner Jin over the radio. "All ships focus fire on the command ship." The hegemony commander watched his defenses crumble in 18 hours. These humans fought like no species he had ever encountered. They took risks that seemed insane but somehow worked. They used tactics that broke every rule of space combat, but achieved impossible victories. "Sir, the mining facilities are in rebellion," his assistant reported. "The native workers have taken over 3 production centers. They are using mining equipment as weapons." Down on the planet's surface, Krell then led his people in their first battle for freedom. Human advisors had taught them how to turn their tools into weapons. Mining lasers became cannons. Transport vehicles became armored fighting machines. "For too long we have been slaves," Krell then shouted to his followers. "Today, we fight for our children's future." The hegemony ground forces found themselves fighting 2 enemies at once. Human troops attacked from orbit while native rebels struck from underground tunnels. Within hours, the entire planet was in chaos. News of the liberation spread through hegemony space faster than their commanders could stop it. On dozens of worlds, Enslaved species heard the same message. Humans were coming to set them free. Dr. Nari, now Earth's chief diplomatic officer, stood before the Galactic Council on the neutral world of Veltor. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the vast chamber. Most had never seen a human before. "For thousands of years, the hegemony has told you that might makes right," she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. "They have said that the strong must rule the weak. We offer you a different idea." The alien representatives listened, in silence. Some were terrified, others were curious. All were surprised by this small human who spoke with such confidence. "We believe that every thinking being has the right to choose their own path," Dr. Nari continued. "We believe that freedom is not a gift to be given by the powerful, but a right that belongs to everyone. Join us, and we will teach you to defend that right." Within weeks of her speech, 12 star systems declared independence from the hegemony. Their leaders asked to join the human-led coalition. They offered their fleets, their resources, and their people to the cause of liberation. Admiral Kai, now commanding the Earth Federation's main battle fleet, received reports from across the galaxy. 43 star systems had joined the coalition. Hundreds of worlds were in rebellion against hegemony rule. "Sir, intelligence reports that the hegemony is gathering their main fleet," reported his aide, Commander Yoon. "They are planning one final battle to crush the rebellion." Admiral Kai studied the tactical display. Red dots showed hegemony forces. Blue dots showed coalition fleets. For the first time since the war began, the numbers were almost equal. "Send a message to all coalition commanders," Kai ordered. "Tell them the final battle is coming. Every ship that can fly should join us." On Earth, in the rebuilt city of New Seoul, millions of humans watched the news broadcasts. Their planet had gone from near extinction to leading a galactic revolution in just 2 years. Children who had hidden in underground tunnels now saw their older siblings commanding starships. Dr. Tay, working in her advanced research laboratory, put the finishing touches on humanity's newest weapon. It was based on alien technology, but improved beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. "If they want a final battle," she said to her assistant, "let's give them one they will never forget." The hegemony had ruled the galaxy through fear for thousands of years. They had crushed every rebellion, defeated every challenger. But they had never faced an enemy like humanity. An enemy that learned from every defeat, grew stronger from every loss, and never gave up hope. The spreading fire of liberation was about to become an inferno that would reshape the entire galaxy. Admiral Kai stood on the bridge of the Earth Federation flagship Indomitable, watching enemy ships gather in the distance. The hegemony had brought their entire fleet to the Velkrath system for this final battle. 5 years of war had led to this moment. "Sir, enemy fleet count is complete," reported Lieutenant Bo. 400 capital ships, 800 support vessels. They outnumber us 3-1. Kai smiled grimly. He had fought impossible odds before. Every human commander had learned to win battles they should have lost. "Then it's a fair fight," he said. "Signal all ships, remember Earth, remember why we fight." Across the coalition fleet, captains from dozens of different worlds prepared for battle. Captain Huan commanded the left wing, his ships filled with freed slaves who had never forgotten their years under hegemony rule. Admiral Yun led the right wing, her vessels crewed by humans who had lost family in the first attacks on Earth. "All ships report ready," announced Communications Officer Jin. "Coalition forces are in position." The battle began when the hegemony fired their long-range weapons. Beams of energy crossed the empty space between the fleets. But the human ships moved in patterns the enemy had never seen before. They spun and twisted through space, avoiding most of the incoming fire. "Execute attack pattern Delta," ordered Admiral Kai. The coalition fleet split into small groups, each attacking from a different direction. This was human strategy at its finest. Instead of meeting the enemy head-on like traditional space battles, they surrounded and confused their opponents. Captain. Mira led her squadron in a direct assault on the enemy flagship. Her ships were smaller and faster than the massive hegemony vessels. They darted between the big ships like angry insects, striking weak points and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Target their engine sections, she ordered her pilots. Without engines, even the biggest ship is helpless. The hegemony commanders had never faced tactics like these. For thousands of years, space battles had followed the same patterns. Large fleets met in straight lines and fired until one side was destroyed, but humans fought differently. They used speed, surprise, and cunning instead of raw firepower. "Sir, we are losing ships faster than projected," reported the hegemony fleet commander to his admiral. "The enemy is not fighting according to standard protocols." Admiral Thexmore of the hegemony watched his carefully planned battle turn into chaos. His ships were more powerful than human vessels, but they could not hit targets that moved so unpredictably. Meanwhile, human weapons seemed to find every weak spot in his defenses. "Concentrate all fire on their flagship," he ordered. "If we destroy their command ship, the rest will surrender." But when dozens of hegemony ships focused their weapons on the Indomitable, something unexpected happened. The human flagship did not try to escape. Instead, it flew directly toward the enemy fleet, all weapons firing. "Admiral, they are on a collision course," warned the hegemony navigation officer. "They would not dare," Admiral Thexmore said. But as he watched, he realized that humans would dare anything. At the last moment, the Indomitable turned sharply and flew through the middle of the hegemony formation. Its weapons fired in all directions, damaging 6 ships at close range. Other human vessels followed, turning the neat enemy formation into a confused mass of ships. Lieutenant Sue piloted her fighter through the battle, dodging energy beams and explosions. She had lost her family in the invasion of Earth 5 years ago. Today was for them. "This is for my mother," she whispered as her weapons destroyed a hegemony bomber. "This is for my father," as she crippled an enemy cruiser. All across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. Humans and their allies fought with a fury that terrified the hegemony forces. These were not soldiers fighting for territory or resources. These were people fighting for their right to exist. The turning point came when Captain Juan's wing broke through the enemy rear guard. His ships struck the hegemony supply vessels, cutting off ammunition and fuel to the front lines. Within an hour, enemy ships began running out of power. "Sir, multiple ships are requesting permission to surrender," reported the hegemony communications officer. Admiral Thexmore stared at his tactical display. Half his fleet was destroyed or disabled. The other half was surrounded by human forces. In 6 hours, the most powerful military force in galactic history had been completely defeated. "Open a channel to the human flagship," he said quietly. The face that appeared on his screen belonged to a young human woman with cold, determined eyes. Admiral Yun had started the war as a civilian engineer. Now she commanded the most feared fleet in the galaxy. "I am Admiral Yun of the Earth Federation," she said. "I assume you wish to discuss surrender terms." "What are your demands?" Admiral Thexmore asked. "There are no demands. There are only facts. You will surrender unconditionally. You will submit to war crimes tribunals. You will accept the complete dismantling of your empire. Your species will be placed under Federation oversight until you learn to coexist peacefully with others. And if we refuse?" Admiral Yun's expression did not change. "Then you will die here, and we will take your worlds anyway. Choose quickly. My patience is limited." Admiral Thexmore looked around his damaged bridge. His proud fleet was in ruins. His empire was collapsing. The primitives from Earth had become the new masters of the galaxy. I surrender," he said. The war was over. Humanity had won. 10 years after the first orbital bombardment of Earth, Dr. J stood in the memorial garden built on the site of Old Sol. The names of every human who died in the war were etched in black stone, surrounded by flowering trees from 100 different worlds. Former hegemony commander Velthak, now serving a life sentence for war crimes, worked in the memorial's maintenance crew. It was, his human supervisors had explained, important that he understand the cost of what he had done. "I don't understand," he said to Dr. J during one of their supervised conversations. You could have exterminated us. Why show mercy? Doctor. Jay looked up from the earth flowers she was tending, a small reminder of what had been lost and what had been preserved. Because, she said simply, we are not you. We learned long ago that strength without compassion is just another form of weakness. The Earth Federation now governed nearly half the galaxy, not through conquest but through voluntary association. Former hegemony worlds requested membership daily, drawn by promises of freedom, technological advancement, and protection from the kinds of predators they themselves had once been. In the Federation Council chambers, representatives from hundreds of species worked together to solve problems that had seemed impossible under hegemony rule. Peace, it turned out, was far more productive than oppression. As Dr. J walked home through the rebuilt streets of New Seoul, she reflected on the irony of it all. The hegemony had sought to eliminate what they saw as a minor threat. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, not our fury, but our refusal to let anyone suffer the way we had suffered. The galaxy had learned the hardest lesson in its history, that those who protect the weak will always triumph over those who prey upon them.